Today we are going to learn about RPD online and offline changes. Okay, and we'll be learning making the RPD changes in online mode and how it will reflect analytics. So here RPD online mode and offline mode. Online mode in offline RPD changes we can open any RPD which is RPD folder. We can open any RPD which is available under our RPD folder. Next, RPD folder means nothing but a repository folder. And whatever the changes we do in offline RPD to make the changes available for reporting solution, we need to redeploy and restart OPM and CTL services. Okay, here whatever the change we do in offline mode, that change will not be directly reflected into your analytics. We need to manually do the changes in the offline mode and we need to deploy the repository once if you want the same changes reflecting in your analytics subject area for using it for the reporting solution. And the next thing is like when we open RPD in offline, it will ask you for repository password. First difference is and the next. it will ask you to provide with RPD password and user ID password who is logging in to access RPD in online mode. This means which provides a security. That means RPD which got deployed onto the BA server, that RPD cannot open directly with the repository password. But when we want to open an RPD when we want to open the RPD in online mode, it will ask you for the repository password as well as the user who is logging in. Suppose if an RPD is being used by two users, if two users try to log in at a time, and when they try to use it, what happens in real time is that RPD cannot be in view and edit permission for both. First user 1 logged in online mode and he is working on some subject area. So all that objects will be checked in. So other user 2 try to access it from some other location, and then when he try to log in, that will show him saying that read only mode. That means until the user 1 checks out, user 2 cannot have access. That is the way which will do the security. So intimating the other person, some other person is already working there on the RPD, so that they cannot directly use the RPD for building the changes. So here, next thing is online RPD changes does not require any kind of deployment. Only thing when we do the changes, once we save the RPD, we will have an option analytics saying reload server metadata. So what happens when we are saying analytics, when we are saying it reload server metadata, that means it will load all the changes into subject area which we have done it in online mode. This is the way, once we save the RPD in online mode, it doesn't require any changes need to be done. We need not redeploy it. Only thing is we just need to reload the server metadata, so that it will load the changes into the subject area which we have done it in online mode in the RPD. Okay, this is the way online and offline mode repositories will be doing the changes. First we will try to close the RPD and we'll try to open it offline. So here I am closing my RPD. So my RPD is closed. Now I want to open my RPD, means first I will go to administration, BA administration. From BA administration you will have an access to open your RPD whether in offline mode or online mode. So here you will have an option file, open, offline or online. So I want to open offline, means suppose if you take offline, you can see so many repositories. Which repository you want to open, you can open. Let me take 12th. So I want to open my virtual RPD. So if I click open, which will give the password. So I want to provide admin123. We can see here repository is open in the offline mode. So repository is ready. So now I want to open in online mode. How I can open? I'll go to file, open, online. See, it is asking for us repository password as well as user who is logging in. So here I want to provide repository password as admin123, and the user is WebLogic user, which I am having as if now I am logging with WebLogic user, and other user I log in with password is WebLogic123. Now you can see here RPD is showing as server. That means the RPD which we deployed into the BI server, that RPD is open in online mode, not the RPD which is available from the repository folder path location. So now here we understood how a repository will be get deployed in real time. If you do the changes in online mode, that changes will be directly going to affect into your repository folder path location, and if you do the offline mode changes, that changes is going to affect in offline mode. We need to redeploy it. Okay, only once we redeploy the RPD, then only we can see. Now here in this I will do the changes in online mode. Here I want to convert a snowflake schema to a star schema. Snowflake schema means, like, if I select these tables, if I right click here and I'll go to physical diagram, selected objects only, we can see here all the tables which is having a snowflake schema structure. That means time, revenue is the fact which connected with 3 different dimensions, and dimension to dimension join is existing. In real time, if we want to make this convert look like a snowflake schema, so if from the database level itself, if an address table columns were available into our customer, so how it looks? It looks like a single table, right? So that a fact is connecting to 3 different dimension tables, it looks like. So what happens here is, when we are selecting some table into the existing table in dimension to dimension join which is having there, so what happens? It looks like a single table. So if this is existing from the database level, then it is fine. But here we cannot do any changes in the physical layer because it will disturb the structure of the table which is available virtually. So what we will do here is, we will try to create a structure. That means we will try to show, like, adding this address table into customer in BMM layer. How we can add it into BMM layer? That's what I told. Like, how we can create into BMM layer is, like, BMM layer is the business model and mapping layer. Whatever the business logic you want to design, we'll be designing in the business model and mapping layer. Here, if I want to select address into customers, so how I can select? If I click close here, so here I'll expand my D3 customers and the sources, and we can see here D3 customer is a logical table. Under that we are having logical table source D3 customers. Now I want to add D4 address physical table into my logical table D3 customer. D4 address physical table into my logical table D3 customers. That means how a logical table will be get relationship with the physical table? Through a logical table source. That means once a logical table source is created, then under that columns will be available to map with this physical table. In the same way, once we select D4 address here, and drag it and drop it onto D3 customers, so that it will ask you to check out. See, repository file is used for reporting. Objects in the repository need to be checked out for editing. That means we are doing the changes in online mode. That's the reason all the time when you do some changes in online mode, this will ask you to check out for editing the changes. Any associated objects will also need to be checked out to enable the editing. That means like when you want to enable the checkout, you need to save it, automatically it will be checked in. So I am doing a checkout here. Now you see, in this business model, someone is working on to D3 customer, which will intimate it if some other user tries to log in. Now I dragged and dropped my D4 address table into D3 customer. What it done? It created with one more logical table source. D3 customer logical table source is having columns mapped with D3 customers, and D4 address will have a columns mapped with D4 address, right? That means logical table sources will maintain separate connections with two different tables. From presentation it comes here. In D3 customer it looks like a single table, and here this one passes to D3 customer and D4 address will passes to D4 address. So this is the way we follow converting a Snowflake schema to a star schema. Reason is like we can make use of this kind of analysis and these kind of solutions for in order to provide an very good performance. Like we can increase the performance. That is the one best thing we follow for converting a Snowflake into a star schema. Changing Snowflake into a star schema can be created by designing multiple logical table sources. This is what multiple logical table sources is. We are having D3 customer one logical table source, D4 address one more logical table source. If I am having one more table connecting to address, I will move it here. What happens? Again it creates one more logical table source which will be mapping to this. Okay, this is the way how we will design each and every level. Like whenever we want to convert a Snowflake schema structure, looks like a star schema structure, this is how we will drag it and drop it, and we will add the details into the each and every location. Now here I am expanding my customers, but I don't want to add it. Moreover, here we can see two addresses keys were available. Two address keys. I don't want to use two address keys because it doesn't require, like if you save it also it will throw an error saying that two address keys were added. Okay, so in order to avoid that, okay, I am just removing one address key, or let us see how the error will be thrown. Okay, now here I want to rename all the column names look like above. See, I'll select all the columns. For renaming only few columns, I'll just right click it, select rename wizard, all text lowercase, first change of occurrence of underscore into space, first letter of the each word capital. If I click next, finish, see, here itself it throws you an error saying that address key has already been defined in the logical column training BM 3 customers address key. So there is no requirement when two logical table sources were under one thing. That means like under one logical table, if we have two logical table sources, the join which makes them join, right, the key column, that should be only one should be remaining there. Here I will just remove the existing one, address key. So address key is removed. Okay, now here in the presentation layer, I'll just try to design in such a way like a separate table for my address, customer related address table. So just want to make much more clear. So I'm selecting new presentation table here, giving this one as customer space address. So if I double click on subject area, I'll go to presentation layer, customer address base facts. So this one is created. Now I'll select address 1, address 2, area, city, country name, and I'll select customer address. So here we will understand, like, customer address is available here, and we can see under the customer address, address 1, address 2, area, city, country name, everything is available, right? Okay, now if I save it, we have to check in the changes. So I'm checking the global consistency. Yes. Now you see, consistency check did not find anyone. All the checkouts were disappeared and everything is checked in. Now we'll see the changes, how it will be available into our analytics. For this, I'm going here. And here subject area is not available with, I am not deploying because I have done the changes in online mode, so I am not trying to deploy it, but I want this should be loaded with my newly added table, right? For that, we'll go to this corner. Here we'll have an option, reload server metadata. That means whatever the changes we did it in online mode, those changes should be reflected into your server based deployed repository. So I am selecting reload server metadata here. So what happens? This one can, here customer address is added. You can see here address 1, address 2, area, city, country name, everything what we added under the customer address is available here. Now I'll go to new here and select analysis and select the training subject area. And now from the left side, I'll expand time. I'll select per name here, and I'll select brand. I'll select customer name. I'll select revenue. So now here I'll go to the corner and I'll select here. So I want to test whether newly added address is pulling the results or not. Selecting city. I just want to see customer city also. I'm just testing that whether city also pulling the results in for the customers or not. Now once I click results, I can see here all the customers who belongs to each and every city will be displayed like this. So we understood here, like when we select something from the front end, and when we do the changes in online mode, automatically that changes can be logged into the analytics only when we select the reload server metadata. Reload server metadata is an option which we use it for reloading the server metadata changes which we did it in online mode. So whatever the online changes we have done, those changes will be available here, and that changes will be selecting in the front end, and those changes we can use it for the report development, whatever the report we want to develop. In this way, like whatever the changes we did in online mode changes, those changes will be reflecting for us from the repository, and that repository will be saved. Once we check the consistency check, that check if it is error free, automatically we can log into that particular space and we can say that that repository is saved, reload the server metadata, automatically the metadata which we saved, that will be available here in your front end reporting. That's the way we tested customer address which we developed here by converting a snowflake to a star schema, and we made that changes available into the front end through server metadata. And we tested customer address is added with city for the report along with the per name year, brand, customer name and customer city and the revenue. It generated a report which shows with entire new changes which we did it in the RPD in online mode, adding in customer address as a separate table in the presentation layer subject area. This is how we can make use of offline repository and online repository, and after that, like reloading the server metadata, converting of a snowflake schema to a star schema. How do we add a snowflake schema structure to look like a star schema in BMM layer, and how we can make use of it. This is how we can do the analysis in real time, and we can make the customer gets the best performance from converting a snowflake to a star schema structures. So hope like today what we learned in this session is like creating an offline repository, how what are the changes we do in offline, and how we will use an online repository, how the changes were done in online repository with reload server metadata, how we are going to get the changes. And the next thing is like we learn here how do we deploy the changes once it is done with reload server metadata with an customer address which is added into the subject area, and we tested that one. And converting a snowflake to a star schema, adding physical table, dimension table into BMM table by creating multiple logical table sources. Everything were done here in this session, converting a snowflake to star, offline and online repository, and making it into the analytics availability through a server metadata and testing. Hope you all enjoyed this session. Thank you.